What's up? It's like it's been a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely been a while. Anybody let us know about the audio or video. We haven't done this in a while, so my kids had kind of everything mixed up. So how's the audio? How's the video? In the meantime, let's get started. You ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, welcome back, everyone, to the 5K family group discussion. We haven't done this in a while, so hopefully everybody's been well. We've been extremely busy here coaching, working, so hopefully everybody's been busy and well too. All right. We're going to start the show out real quick with something that we kind of ended, or I ended my last download on, and that was Emma Raducanu. And I don't want to beat a dead horse and continue to talk about this, but the reason why I want to talk about it is I went on a rant about a week or two ago. It was like a 2-minute thing about Emma Raducanu, and I told you, and tennis is becoming watered down, and we're going to talk about what we meant, or I meant by that, and I want to get right into it. Carla and I read an article just the other day by Flavia Pennetta. Flavia Pennetta won a U.S. Open after Vinci beat Serena, if I remember correctly, in the semis, and then Vinci and Pennetta won the U.S. Open final over Vinci. Pennetta indicated the same thing. She says it's a joke that Emma Raducanu won this major just in her era, which isn't long ago. That never would have happened. And she herself indicated tennis has become watered down. There's tournaments everywhere, every week, different place, 2 tournaments, 3 tournaments going on at the same time. People are tired. This is what I was alluding to.
Well, she said that it would never happen that someone would go to qualifying rounds and then win. A young girl would win. I mean, I have to agree with her. I think that the competition was a lot more stiff back in those days. Of course, Serena was
well, those days. Pennetta is recent.
Not that recent. Maybe 10, 15 years ago now.
Still fairly recent.
Yeah, but you had a lot of solid players at that point. I think now if you watch women's tennis and even men's tennis without Djokovic and Nadal, it's a toss-up. I mean, I have to laugh that people even watch the Indian Wells. Nori Bashvili, wife beater, final. That had to be the worst final. And Tsitsipas and Zverev not take advantage of it. And Medvedev, just bad tennis. Nori, oh my gosh.
Yeah, can anyone? I mean, does anyone agree that? I mean, did anyone actually watch the final? And look. We don't want to come across. Remember, we don't do this for a living. We have really, we could care less. We lost 75 subscribers because I went on a rant. That's okay. It doesn't matter. But we love the game. We coach the game. We were both raised into the game and played at high levels into the game. And now we have 5 children who play, and we have our own business and pro shop and our own facility. Or for not our own facility, but a place that we lease out. So, for the current point in time, we have our own facility. So, we enjoy sharing reality, truth with you, and aren't worried about brown nosing anyone or if you unsubscribe because of it. Now, let me another way that tennis has become watered down, and I'm not knocking on any individual person, but look at the YouTube tennis kind of atmosphere. There's no originality. It's just a bunch of young kids that are now just copying one another. This person's doing play-by-play. That person's doing play-by-play. That person's doing play-by-play. And they all copy one another, and they all brown nose, and they all make you pay to read a comment. And YouTube takes 33% of that. So you're not really – what I'm getting at is – there is so much brown nosing and so many people doing the same thing, even in the game of tennis and off of the court. It just gets watered down. It's one of the main reasons why tennis, especially in the U.S., is failing as a sport that people want their kids to play. It's because everywhere they look, there's watered down tennis, right? There's a million facilities teaching the same loopy ball tennis game, and it just gets boring. Anyway, back to the Raducanu statement. Carl and I didn't want to one-up anybody, say we told you so. It's just that we've been around it. We have coached. We have been around the game. We have been in the locker rooms. And, sometimes you get in certain situations where a player wins a major or a tournament and just really shouldn't have because of other reasons. And the young tennis community, for the most part, jumps on these bandwagons when the media sells it to you. I can't tell you how many people were like, Raducanu's the next GOAT. I can promise you that I wouldn't be shocked if she just has an average career moving forward. She dropped the coach right afterwards. There's some debate upon why that occurred. Maybe the coach didn't have enough experience at the WTA level. And I understand that. We talked about that. Carla and I wouldn't feel comfortable taking someone on the pro tour because we haven't done it. But for such a young girl to give so many changes so quickly, it's a culture shock. And unfortunately, it always leads to demise. There's no exceptions to the rule. Give me one. The list goes on, and it has for years, and we've seen it since we were children. That's all I'm saying. Carla, do you want to touch on that?
I mean, the tennis right now, in my opinion, is just I don't know.
Let me read this comment.
It's just everywhere.
Let me read this comment by William Spencer. What's up, William? Sorry, we haven't been around in 3 weeks, but this is why we do it just at the majors for the most part, because all the other little yappers, they're just going to water it down, and you can go catch up. Look, every time a rankings thing comes out, there's like 5 channels that you start ranking. It's like, who can get there first? It's so stupid and cheesy. William Spencer says, same the world over. Everyone follows everyone else. People afraid to stand out. Be different takes risks. Same from tennis, music, and life in general. Lack of courage and originality is depressing. And great statement on music. Carl and I were just talking about it the other day. Not that we are big hip hop or rap fans. Not that we're big, like metal type music, not heavy metal, but stuff like Nirvana and Stone Temple Pilots and bands like Smashing Pumpkins back when we were, 15, 16, they had originality. Nowadays, the people can't even rap anymore because they just talk and use computers to synthesize their voice. Producers go out and find people that are respected in the hood or something and say, all right, we're going to make you a rapper because you got street cred. So come on, we're going to make, there's no originality. And this is what we are seeing in tennis. Now, Rafael Nadal chimed in on this very subject within the past 3 weeks. And there was an article or an interview that Rafael Nadal was involved with. And Rafael Nadal was asked about the current state of tennis, and he was relatively negative about it. Why? Rafael Nadal has indicated that the playing surfaces are all becoming faster. The surfaces are all becoming kind of even. Like the clay plays faster, the grass has always been fast, but the hard courts are getting faster. So Nadal alluded to say that the game, there is no tactics anymore. It's that one big shot. It's the big 7-foot server with the +1 forehand. It's becoming one big shot. Why is that a big deal? Because when you only have one big shot, there's really no strategic tactics at play. So if we don't have, tennis is like an artist. Michael Spencer said it wonderfully. We're artists. We all are unique, and we have our unique game. It's not unique to go bang and then boom. And look at Sabalenka, Riley Opelka, these one-shot players. Why did we say Medvedev would never win a major? He won one, and I don't want to, I think someone called me out on this not long ago, but he's a big hitting player.
He won his US Open, not hitting big though.
Yes. The reason why I stated that is because he is just a big hitter, but he added variety at the US Open and took advantage of it.
He pushed the ball the whole time.
But do you agree or disagree with Rafael Nadal in a sense that the game is becoming more one big shot and less tactics, which doesn't allow artists to be on display?
Yeah, pretty much everyone looks the same in my opinion. Again, the Indian Wells, I tried to watch a few matches. I tried really, really, really hard, and it was tough for me to get into it. I could tell you that I didn't watch one women's match. Not one, I didn't watch. No, actually we did. Raducanu playing Sasnovich.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much like the last set. And she looked flat. She looked lost. She looked like she didn't belong there.
That's the day I went on the ranch.
She just did not look like a good tennis player. And I was like, wow. Sasnovich. I was like, wow. I just, it was like, and then I never really watched. And, then I heard Medvedev goes out to Dimitrov. I was like, that's laughable. And then Dimitrov loses to, was it Nori or Bashvili? One of the two, which to me are not great players. I'm sorry. For those of you who think Nori's a great player, that's a joke to me. Never liked him, never liked his game. Very boring, no strategy. I just can't believe a player like Zverev and Tsitsipas, who are supposed to be the next thing, can't take advantage of winning another Masters without Djokovic there. You know, that's just crazy to me. It's sad. It shows you where tennis is going. Boy, am I going to miss the old guys. And I don't know. I'm going to have to find someone to cheer. Maybe I'll watch college tennis, instead. I don't know.
Yes. Another way the game has become watered down is by the avenues of isms and beliefs and social ideals that have found their way into the game. This when Naomi Osaka started with the emotional stuff, and her boyfriend was flipping us off on center court after the last U.S. Open. I finally got to the point where all of sports, have become less about the sport and more about the athletes' ideas and beliefs and certain isms within those sports. A couple years ago, we had the NFL. They were kneeling. Not that I have a problem with that, but it's just sport shouldn't be the platform for that. It makes it about something else. Sports is supposed to bring people together. Yet when the kneeling started, the fans were against one another. The players were against one another. The coaches were against the players. It became divisive with things like homosexuality and so forth. Again, no problem with that. We have wonderful friends that are that way. It's no problem for us. But some of the people that make it such a big deal about it pro or con, they bring it into the sport and start bashing people that are one way or the other and forget about the competition on the court. There are so many different examples of this abound. We just ran into COVID, right? Djokovic had a tournament in Serbia, and got bashed for not having people there vaccinated. It was his country. It's his business. You have no right. That was his people, his country, and people weren't forced to go. They went voluntarily. So that became a big deal. We lost track of Djokovic for a while, and everybody was just bashing him and calling him a bad human being, but yet he was with his people. There's just so many now watered down children on YouTube that copy one another. There are so many isms, beliefs, and discontent between players, sponsors, tournaments. No one is talking to the players very much. They're just setting up tournaments and saying, come here vaccinated or get lost. By the way, I think Djokovic is going to, from what I understand, will get that vaccination.
Well, I think they're forced to. Rublev said that he wants to play the Australian Open, and he will follow in Thiem's footsteps and get vaccinated. There's a third of players that are not vaccinated right now. So if they want to play, they need to get vaccinated. I think we saw the same issue with the basketball player. Plays for the Brooklyn Nets. What's his name? He was for the Cavaliers. He played with LeBron.
Wait, okay. Don't forget to read Jack Nolte's comment. What was that?
Who's the player that I used to cheer for? I forgot his name. Cavaliers. He plays for the Brooklyn Nets now.
Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, he said he won't play
because of the vaccination thing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get into the coronavirus vaccination stuff, but that's your medical personal business. We've talked about this before. We're not saying we're pro or con either way.
No.
But what type of world are we in where you can't go to your job unless you have something stuck in your ass or something? Look, whether you get it or not, that's okay. Do I walk up to a girl that comes into my house, Carla, and be like, hey, are you on the birth control pill? Because if you're not, you can't come in my house. Or do I walk up do I walk up to a tennis student and say, hey, have you had your chicken pox vaccination? Because if you don't, you can't play.
I disagree with the whole thing. I think it's wrong to force people. I'm not for or against it, but I just think we don't force flu shots. Why would we force?
Yeah, why are we forcing this one?
On top of that, if you're vaccinated, then
and that makes no sense. That's another thing. If you're vaccinated, why would you care if I was or not? Because you're vaccinated, right? It doesn't make any sense. Jack Nolte's comment.
No, well, read William Spencer's.
All right, William Spencer's. Okay, William Spencer says the next 10 years of tennis will be interesting in its own way. Having said that, this past few months, I've watched the least tennis I have in probably a decade, which probably says a lot.
Same here.
Agreed. Look, I did not watch one match of the Indian Wells except for the Raducanu Sasnovich match. You go back and look at the history of that. The day before that match happened, I said Sasnovich would win. Why? Sasnovich is a seasoned veteran. She comes from a small country, Belarus. She has Azarenka. She has Sabalenka and a couple others that have come out there. She has pressure on her to be as good as them, and she's a veteran, right? She's crafty, right? I wasn't surprised. Raducanu, in my opinion, she played really good at the U.S. Open, but she was lucky to have the draw unfold as it was, and she was lucky to have a lot of people beat down after a year and a half of COVID and being pushed around the hotel and segregated areas, right? That will change. It's going to change rapidly. The fans are back. They're ready to roll. And it's going to be a tough deal for the likes of Raducanu to ever to ever repeat that. By the way, I think the best thing that ever happened to Leylah Fernandez was losing that match.
Yeah.
Leylah Fernandez losing that final was the best thing for her career because she was not thrusted into the Met Gala and all these other, parties for the ultra rich. By the way, did anybody hear a devastating story this morning that Alec Baldwin, I guess, inadvertently killed somebody, an actress or
not an actress,
and a producer or something?
The director got hurt, and then the whatever the person.
Yeah, I guess there was a loaded gun that should have been filled with blanks on a movie set, and Alec Baldwin, big time actor, tons of movies. I guess he's pulled the trigger a couple times and killed somebody and injured someone else before it disappears. Jack Nolte, did you see Serena's story about Sharapova? Instagram that said she always respected Sharapova off the court, maybe competitors, but did media blow up their hate match towards each other? There was genuine hate there.
There was just when there was a guy involved. That's it.
Dimitrov was involved.
There's a man involved.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how it goes.
Yeah, Serena had dated Dimitrov for a little while, and Sharapova had done the same, and they were kind of bickering about that, and it led to.
It was a cat fight.
Yeah, it was a cat fight, but that's over. They're both long past that, but the media had a great time blowing that up.
How high are the rates in Melbourne? I'm just curious. I mean, look,
we're not saying it's not necessary.
There's COVID here, but everybody's living their normal life. I mean,
yeah. Let's read his comment. So Yin Halcour, much love you a lot. Yin Halcour says COVID rates in Melbourne are pretty high, so it's necessary to be cautious.
Out there higher than here.
Agreed.
Out there higher than here.
Not saying that the issue is forcing people to do something medically that they don't want to do. Forcing something.
That's communism.
Yeah, forcing someone to put something in their body that they're quite unsure. And second, does it make any sense though if you're vaccinated and let's say John Doe isn't, that John Doe can't come around you because if you're vaccinated and it works, why would you be worried about it if there was someone next to you? And by the way,
we know people who got it and they got sick still.
Yeah. So we know people
and bad.
Yeah.
Really?
We know people who have been vaccinated and boosted and still get sick. So I don't understand it, but what do we know? We are cautious, at least in tennis. We're a long ways away from one another, so we don't have to necessarily worry about that. But again, it's just a little questionable. All right. So Djokovic, I guess we can say, as we read, will play the Australian Open.
By the way, news on him. I read where his foundation, Novak Foundation, opened up his 48th school. He opened up the school in a village called Stapanja. There's 1,300 people that live there. He opened up a kindergarten that's going to be able to give 75 kids a brand new school.
Excellent.
For them. I thought that was pretty cool.
I wish he would come and resurface our tennis courts here. And this is another thing, and I won't dwell too much on it. I'm positive about it. But where we coach tennis at, we love it. We're lucky to be there. But the court surface needs to be replaced, and it's not even a big lump. It's like 18,000, 19,000 to get it resurfaced, which in the world today, that's really chump change. I'm sorry to say it, especially for just resurfacing some tennis courts, but it's a problem. No one wants to do it. And you ask yourself, does anyone care about children? Does anyone care about fitness? Does anyone care about getting off their butt and having some fun? Does anyone care about not dying young? Does anyone care about heart disease? Does anyone care about obesity? Tennis is something that anyone could do at any age. And we have a community full of tennis players at this point. But the people that hold the money, they don't particularly care. And that's okay. We'll move forward and we'll play on, bumpy courts. I think people take tennis lessons because they enjoy it and to have camaraderie with the teaching pros. And I think we do a good job of that. But this is another idea of people, especially in the US, that don't care about the game.
They care more about drinking, more about club, more about partying, and doing all the other stuff. That's what they care more about. We did have a viewer and also someone that follows us on Facebook. Name was
Gary Terranova.
Gary, and what a pleasure to meet this gentleman. We got to talking. He gave me a shirt that I got to wear. The funny thing about him is that he is not a Serena fan. He can't stand Will Smith, which cracks me up.
So Gary, look, I'm a longtime surfer here. I haven't been able to surf really at all since I blew out my knee. But Gary Terranova, longtime tennis player and fan, and his buddy in the picture here, I think his name was Paul.
Yeah.
Anyway, he is the owner and creator of Plastic Fantastic Surfboards. Big time. Look it up. But here is Gary Terranova.
Funny guy, he was telling me, he's like, out of everything, he can't stand Djokovic. He said, out of everything that could have happened to Djokovic at the US Open, he's like, he throws the ball and the lady,
and they brought Carla a shirt.
He's like, you would think the lady would avoid the ball, but he's like, but no, she goes right into it.
Yeah.
She goes right into it and falls instead of saying, oh yeah, I'm okay. He's like that. He said to him, that was the most comical thing. And then to see Djokovic's face say, I'm disqualified.
Yeah. It was perfect. Yeah. So in other words, his joke was that the woman that got, accidentally hit in the throat, she went immediately down. So she got hit and she went down like a sack of rocks. So what he was getting at is, this lady, she could have just walked it off and been like, no problem, like everyone else does. And Djokovic would have still been in the tournament. But because she automatically went down, it almost seemed kind of conspiratorish.
That's what he said.
By the way, a message from Sanja Stankovic, forcing someone to take vaccination or you couldn't enter restaurant reminds me of Germany in 1940. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Exactly. It's a
for
problem.
you of those that don't think that's a problem, I don't know. But I like Salty's comment. He says, because the vaccine is not foolproof, fully vaccinated people still get sick and some of them die. Exactly. And William Spencer said COVID rates 50K a day here now, even though 90% of population is vaccinated, and now we're still being told to get vaccinated.
So why do you want to?
Hard to square those two facts. Very hard.
Yeah,
we have to be. Let's use our.
We got to be mindful
here.
of.
Come on, let's not follow because we need to follow.
Again, we're not saying pro or con against it. Please don't take this out of context.
My son has a vaccine. He's in the military. He has to follow rules. He's got his vaccination. Good for him. He had to do it. So he's following a rule. And I get that athletes have to follow a rule. I get it.
If you want to do your job and that's a rule for that job, then you have to make a really tough decision. I think Kyrie Irving is stands to lose something like 70 million over this. And he's steadfast in it. Djokovic, he's pressured here because he's tied at 20 with Federer and Nadal. And surely he wants to pass that. And Australia is his best chance to do that. So they are literally forcing his hand to do something that he doesn't necessarily want to do. And my heart goes out to Novak for sure. You guys know I love Novak a lot.
And how wearing mask has not been proven also. That's another thing. I'm sorry, but the whole wearing the mask has not proven to be effective as well. I'm sorry.
Well, one thing about masks for sure is it creates a whole bunch of litter. And, now people wear these masks and they get nowhere. They just throw them in the street.
Agree with that too.
So I don't like litter. I'm constantly picking up litter, no matter where I am, Walmart, tennis courts.
Yeah,
and you know how many masks I've picked up? Thousands of masks.
And on top of that, think about it. If you're not immune to certain things, it's like a little kid that's been home and then all of a sudden he goes to school and he gets sick. He wasn't immune to all those things that make you sick, all those bacteria. If you keep people distant, they stop becoming immune to certain things that we need to be immune to. There's a lot of things that we're not thinking about here. I'm sorry.
Some of the conspiracy theorists are, divide and conquer. Let's divide the people. Let's create isms. Let's create emotional things dealing with, talking to people like Osaka. Let's create racism. Let's divide, and better yet, now let's throw in some booster, and some people will agree. Let's divide everybody more. Let's divide everybody up more. Let's get everybody divided up so we can conquer. I've talked about this before. Some of the greatest empires in history have fallen because of people coming in and infiltrating and causing chaos. And then the military can come in and just wipe them out. William Spencer says a wonderful thing. William Spencer says, people said the way people behaved during that German period of history would never happen again. Yet we're seeing so many of the same things, snitching on non-followers, papers being requested, etc. Sad. Agree. We have created a world of snitches. We've created a world of pansies. We've created a world of brown nosers. And look, unsubscribe. It doesn't matter. Those that are here are family with like ideas, and we debate. We're not saying this is bad or good. It's just saying that this is factual. What we're telling you is factual. Okay.
And William, great comment. He says, agree. Wales have maintained mask and distancing as mandatory, while in England we stopped that in the summer. Wales has higher cases currently than us.
Yeah.
The mask have proven nothing. The social distancing, what you have created is depressed people. Keeping people separated is not good. You have to be around. You have to be around human contact. You have to, for many reasons. It's, I don't know.
For our governments and our big banks and the people that control us, which is the elite 1%. They don't want the people together. They want you divided so they can slap their stupid rules, some of them stupid anyway, down your throat, and your neighbor may or may not do it, and you may or may not do it, and the one that does is going to argue with the one that doesn't, and now we have conflict. But now we have global conflict. Well, usually this happens by means of war. China needs the United States. The United States need China. I'm not going to get into economics, but because we send all of our byproducts to China for them to assemble and send them back, we need one another for all the wrong reasons. I was telling Carly yesterday, she had an idea that we should make a specific type of cup. And I said, we'd have to send all the materials to China by boat, have it come back assembled, because we would have to pay someone $15, $20 an hour to make the cup. And that would make the cup be like a $30 cup. And no one's going to buy a $30 cup, right? So we get the cup for a penny from China, and then we sell it for $4, which makes a $3.99 profit margin.
Which is sad that we have to depend.
It's 1,000% markup, and the 1% keep that. And then there's no workers in the U.S. because
no one wants to work.
They don't want to work for a minimum wage.
Not for minimum wage, and you're gonna take taxes out, insurance out. Yeah, I mean, there's no one working. We go to the supermarkets here. The shelves are empty. The stuff takes forever to get shipped. To get on the phone with anyone, I had to book my son's flight. Here I'm trying to call, I'm 30 minutes on hold with American Airlines, and no one wants to talk anymore. Nobody wants to do anything anymore.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
A stagflation at the grocery store, shelves are empty. It's not a crisis at this moment, but because the chain that allows goods to be brought in, we have tankers sitting off the West Coast. We have tankers now that usually go into the West Coast, coming through the Panama Canal and coming up into the Gulf of Mexico. So yeah, it's a different world out there. And I think that, we can sit back and we can watch a bunch of people go, oh, tip me. I'm like, hey, tip me. Or you can sit down with people that are real, that'll say, man, you suck. And when you really do suck, instead of saying, damn, he sucks. And then you go to them and say, you did so good. You did great. We just like to be real. And unfortunately we lose a lot of people that come on because of that. Understand though, that's not how we roll. We're coaches. This has nothing to do with income, zero. Yeah. Hence why we've never asked for a tip. Anyway, enough said with that. Do you have anything?
Besides, I gotta go back to the Nori beat Bashvili.
Go to that. Now, I did not watch the Nori Bashvili match. I particularly don't care.
Will we ever see that again?
Maybe if we still have tournaments. Look, the U.S. Open at one point in time, besides the Asian swing, was the end of the year. That was it. Most of the top players stopped playing. We had Indian Wells tossed at the end of the year. Last year, the schedule was all jacked up. There was no Asian swing, but yet we're still having tournaments pop up everywhere. And some people can go and some people can't. People are tired. And yet when someone wins them, ooh, you're the GOAT, tip me and I'll tell you everybody. Shut up. Raducanu, the reason why that's the only match I've watched since the U.S. Open, the Raducanu-Sasnovich match, is because I told you so. That's it. And sure, I've said other things and been wrong, but, we're human beings. We're not perfect. But consistently, these type of things that happen, we'll say it and we'll tell you the truth. And maybe we're right, maybe we're wrong.
I like that. Snorri.
Snorri, that's right.
Yeah, Snorri is right. Other than that, no, Roger Federer out of the top 10.
He should be, and that's something to talk about, guys. I love Roger Federer, one of the greatest players of all time. To me, not the greatest. I don't want to get into that. But Roger Federer has been, I think he's played like 10 or 11 matches since 2019. We had COVID, protected ranking. He got injury, protected ranking. Roger Federer should have been out of the top 25 a while ago. You remember the guy from the U.S. Open, Holger Rune, the guy, I think he's from the Netherlands or he's Danish or something. Holger Rune was frustrated, something that I read, that he would be inside the top 100 if it wasn't for the likes of situations like Roger Federer's protected ranking. He calls it bullshit. Holger Rune, I think, mentioned something that he's been traveling nonstop, won, a bunch of events, and he should be inside the top 100. But because of these stupid protected rankings of these megastars, it hasn't happened. Now, why is it important to be inside that top 100? That means that in majors, you're not having to go through qualifiers or get a wild card. So being in that top 100 is important because you're not having to beg for a wild card or go through qualies and play 3 matches. So unfortunately, the watered down kissing Roger Federer's ass hurts people that are working their ass off. Does anybody want to disagree with me on that one? Tennis is watered down. It is, and it has been, and it will continue to be that way as long as the surfaces remain equal and fast. Not Rafael Nadal, like we talked about earlier. It will remain that way as long as we are ass kissing people like Roger Federer and sticking your nose way up his ass. He's still 11 in the world. I mean, what the fuck? Anyway, we have tennis infiltrated with isms and beliefs and social issues. We have people anti this and pro that and kneeling on football fields. It's watered down, period. That's all I got.
That's all I got too.
That's all I got. Guys, we love you a lot. We really do. We stay really, really, really busy and have been really busy.
We have been so busy that it's been even hard to talk to my dad on the phone. That's
I've had rackets to string on a daily basis pretty much. Yeah. Lessons have been really good. We're dealing with some politics about getting the court resurfaced, so that's been draining. I'm very frustrated about that currently. And we wanted to sit down because we had a break today and see you guys. And again, guys, vamos, let's go. Come on.
We'll see you guys soon.
We'll see you guys soon.
Right now, the tennis is just.
Yeah, it's just lackluster. And we don't want to water down the YouTube community because everyone else makes a video every 5 minutes and does a play-by-play match every time there's a shitty match on and they compete with one another, watering down even that. Like I used to watch Cam Williams. I don't anymore because it's gotten so big. You have to make a tip to say hello, and then I don't even care about that. And then you got these other dudes popping up everywhere that are just copying him. So you're like, holy crap, I'm out. I'll just watch it on TV because I can get every match anyway. You know, I'm tired of seeing these little boys copy one another. There's no originality. It's watered down.
Yes.
Anyway, much love to you guys. Subscribe or not, but we'll see you, the family members, soon. Peace out.
Bye-bye.
Let's go. Come on!